Hi all, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about printing Blood Bowl pictures using a 3D printer. What are your options? Where can you get the files from? And what does it look like? So thanks for joining us today on our journey through printing pictures. If you like the video, please hit a like and subscribe button below and leave a comment about what was good and other versions of files that you would look at for this. As we've said before, there are two types of printers when it comes to doing hobby printing. You've got your FDM plastic printer and your resin printer. For today's video, I'm going to be concentrating on the FDM printer. Two reasons for this. One, it's what I've used. I've used an Ender 3 Pro to print my files. And the second is if you're going to print a full pitch, using something like a resin printer is really going to ramp up the costs and the details of the files. Now, I've printed three different types of Blood Bowl pitches and I'll show you them all today. I've actually printed a full 11s pitch, a 7s pitch, and most recently, and as you'll have seen in the video playlist, a set of Dungeon Bowl tiles and the various things to go with them. So let's go into them in detail. Firstly, let's start with the 11s. So, printing an 11s pitch. There are a number of options and different ways to do this, and as with all type of hobby, there is no right, there is no wrong, there's just the way you do it. So the first version, and very much related to Dungeon Bowl, is you can print a load of dungeon tiles. Usually these are 2x2 squares or 4x4 squares, and you can obviously make a whole pitch and go through it from there. One of the best places to look for these is a website called Printed Scenery, where they actually have some free dungeon tiles that you can use to print out on, and I fully recommend having a look at those. And if you want to go a level up, they've actually got a full Blood Bowl pitch there. It's called a fantasy football pitch. Have a look at that. You could go into that, print those files out, and there you've got a lovely pitch. The next option and place to look is good old Thingiverse. Thingiverse is full of files, bit of searching as usual. Look for Blood Bowl or fantasy football and you'll find some versions of pictures in there that are reasonably easy to print, maybe not as high a quality as some of the other files, because people have been making them for fun and for their own hobby, and they're really useful. And if you like them, go in there and give someone a tip about what you liked. And then the other option for files, and the way that I've gone, is to look into people that have actually designed their own pitch and the different versions of these. And I've seen three really good ones that I recommend each of them. The most recent one was in a Kickstarter called West Cross. Hopefully a link will be in the description below, by MG Picks. Fabulous set of tiles. Probably you could use them for Dungeon Bowl as well, and much more than just a pitch onto a full stadium as well. You then last year had the Kraken stadiums as well, which you can still access as files and buy these. Amazing set of wood and stone files and loads of stadium details, stands and all of that. You can go with those. And then the last, and the one that I printed, was the halfling pitches for the leprechauns and the stadium that came along with this. Let me show you more about those. So my Blood Bowl's 11s pitch. These were really nice fun tiles to print. I printed off a full set of tiles, as you can see below. Each of these tiles was about 6x5 or 5x5 tiles as they work through. As you can see, this is an end zone set of tiles. These printed out in grey, they're quite a nice thick set of plastic, quite solid and good detail. And I'd probably print them slightly thinner in the future if I was actually to do them. To make them really work for Blood Bowl, what I've done is I've actually drilled into the side with a little drill, and then as you can see I've just added in a magnet there. That enables it to be assembled much easier, and as you can imagine, these pitches really stack well for travelling and storing. Now what I've done for this is I painted all of these with a black primer. I've then dry brushed them with some grey and some white, and where I've got the relative zone lines I've added those in. For a bit of fun on this, I've added in the end zone in green so you can see where that is. And as you can see, pitches and tiles go together really easily. As you can see, they just click together there. What you got there is a nice line, and you can see what I've done is add on the end of the pitch there as a little bit of a note for myself. Really simple way of doing it, really easy to do, really enjoyed it. Now, because no pitch is useful without a dugout, I also printed out the dugouts that came with this, and this is where you can see the advantage of using some designed files. Look at the lovely detail they've got on here. So this is leprechauns, so this is why you've got a little bit of the gold, you've got the good old coffins, you've got the I wish you'd done better job, and you've got the reserves bench over here. You've got a couple of trackers which go up to 9 for a bit of fun as well, if you've got that extra turn. I really like these for a little bit of fun on the side. Yes, the end zones are really nice, but each of these really brings a little bit of nice look into these. I've painted these a very similar way to I've painted the pictures. So they've all been black primed. They've then had some dry brushing through, a little bit less in the end zone area here. I've then painted up the various items and a little bit of sparkle for the brass pot and the gold coins. This for me is why you look at doing your own printing and detail, is to add that little bit of something different into your pitch. It's great and I'd fully recommend it. So that was the 11s pitches. The next set of pitches you could look at are 7s. And for those of you who have not played Blood Bowl 7s, it's played on a smaller pitch, which is actually about 2/3 the size of a normal Blood Bowl pitch. Really fast game, really great game to teach people Blood Bowl in, and takes a lot less time to play, so good fun. Now when it comes to printing a pitch for 7s, you've got pretty much the same options as you have for 11s. You can go down the dungeon tiles route and just use a smaller set of tiles. You can probably work out through some of those files, and maybe that printed scenery one, a way of printing it. And again, there are a few designed tiles out there, and you could use some of those designed tiles as a way of going. The way I actually went for printing this was to keep it a light and easy set of files, is I used the Thingiverse files for 7s. So let's go and have a look at those now. So, Blood Bowl 7's pitches. Now for this is the Thingiverse files. You can see these are a very different level of detail. Look how thick these aren't. Again, they're printed in grey. They're really simple. You can see here you've got a little bit of a detail of a scatter. You've got the touchdown area. And all I've done with these is spray them brown. I've not done anything else with them yet. Partly because I just haven't had the time, or haven't really played that much 7s recently. So you can see you've got 2 pitches there. And these fit together like flat Lego. Literally like flat Lego. So you put them together. There you go. That's the whole width of a Blood Bowl pitch. So you're talking 6 pieces in total to print a 7s pitch. You can stack them together like that. Look at that, stick them in your bag and off you go. Really nice and easy to do. Plenty of detail you can add as well. And then you've got your own pitch, and you can still use things like your dugouts and other details with it. So then lastly, Dungeon Bowl. Now Dungeon Bowl is a bit different to Blood Bowl 11s and Blood Bowl 7s by nature of the game is played in a dungeon. So you're more talking about a dungeon environment. Now this is a hobby dream, and much more a place where hobbyists are comfortable. We've been making dungeon tiles for years, but as I've said in my videos before, be careful on the scale of which the tiles you're using. For me, I'd fully recommend going down the dungeon tiles route for this, either making your own or printing your own. And what I'll do is I'll link to the description below of the playlist that shows you how I've gone about making mine and the accessories that have gone with it. It's a really good way to go, and I've really enjoyed it. So that's 3 different pictures, 3 different ways to go about it, and plenty of different options. Would I recommend doing it? Absolutely. Part of the fun of playing Blood Bowl is the hobby that goes with it. Part of the hobby nowadays is being able to print things and working out what you want to do and how you want to do it. And you get the chance to really make things your own, from just painting them and detailing them to yourself, to doing really advanced hobby, building a full stadium and doing whatever you want with it. I'd really recommend it. Customise the pitch where you want to do. One of the things I'm really looking forward to doing with my pitches is doing some stencils for team logos and sticking them in. Sticking a couple of symbols are a bit of fun in there as well. And then maybe building some additional things like stands and advertising boards, and there's plenty more that can be added on. So I'll stick those in as well. Printing is just one part of the hobby, but is really part that can bring it together. So really go about it and have a bit of fun. It's fun to play on a printed pitch that's a bit different to normal. One thing I'd always say is just be careful with a printed pitch that you really can play on it. Can you transport it? Can you put it together? Will the miniatures stand up on it? There's nothing worse than printing off a rocky pitch and all your players do is rock and fall over. That's going to get annoying. No one's going to want to play on that. So I hope you found this useful. I hope you've been inspired and you've looked at something and gone, I can do that, or I'd use that and do this in a different way. If so, stick a comment in below. Tell us how you're going to do it. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you again soon. Happy gaming, all the best.